but our husband is here today, Martin Lafiniere. We give you our support, sir, and we hope that you thoroughly enjoyed that display, which was dedicated to you and to Jason today. If you want to help keep the Vulcan in the sky, you need to text 70070. The words you need are Volt 133. That will donate just £3, and I know every single pound of that will help.
And of course, we can get up close to X8558 at the Vulcan Village, which is where the aircraft will be parked up once it's taxied back and been shut down and so forth. That's up towards the left-hand end of the display line. And again, you can find out so much more there about the Vulcan to the Sky Club, the Vulcan to the Sky Trust, and all their work in keeping this aircraft flying. Kevin, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on display tomorrow. Right, I'm looking forward to this as well. Hopefully, Martin with us, who's not flying.
On with the show, lots more action to come, and we look forward already to that tomorrow. Look, the Navy have gone airborne already, catching us out, but very quickly. Please, if you would just listen to a couple of important messages. Polly Duffy, really popular stuff following on. Please don't all rush away. I know that you might have seen what you think of the highlights, but we've got an awful lot more to come, and we will give you as much of an update as possible. And don't forget, closing the show the afternoon, the Fatigue of France, but right there in front of you. Welcome to Royal Navy Solo Black Cat.
This is the Western Lynx HMA-8 from 702 Naval Air Squadron at RNAS Yeovilton in Somerset. We're used to seeing the Black Cats displaying as a pair. This year they're down to a singleton because, George, the very face of the Lynx force in the UK, in both Army and Navy, is changing hugely.
It is indeed. There's a very smart new facility down at Yeovilton, which is the Wildcat training facility, and the aircraft are already being delivered. The Army have 3. I'm not sure how many the Navy have now, but they've certainly got a couple. So both sides training very, very hard. We were hoping to see the Wildcat here today, but we haven't. And this particular Lynx here today in the hands of, I understand, Lieutenant Commander A.J. Thompson.
The unit from which he hails, 702 Naval Air Squadron, trains all the air and ground crew for the other Lynx squadron in the fleet, their R815 NAS, which is the front line outfit.
Now, it's going to say, not everybody will know what the Black Cats is. It's not just the emblem, you know, the squadron emblem, which is well known, and I'm sorry to cut you there, but of course, black catting is an interesting pastime in the Royal Navy. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I was. One-upmanship, I believe.
Absolutely. So there we go. Sorry, Ben, do carry on.
Well, I was just going to say that another role is to provide refresher training to pilots who've spent some time away from the Lynx community but are now returning. That's quite apart from leading 815 squadron with over a dozen air crew and over 100 maintainers a year. The new Lynx Wildcats, which are coming into service, and that's the reason 702 Squadron isn't able to provide a paired Lynx display this year. They all have wheeled undercarriages as well.
Absolutely right. So here we go, very nice pirouettes here down the front line, maintaining altitude whilst pirouetting around himself, and a bit of crew cooperation clearly going on board, showing off all the lines of this airplane. A tremendous activity level, not just in the Royal Navy, but also commenting there with both the Mark 7 and Mark 9 helicopters, the Army Air Corps, Mark 7 natures with the LR mission, but in fact in the AOR, over 30 years of activity full time. Right now the Mark 7 being placed out in space, and just the Mark 9 now in Afghanistan.
And the Navy Lynx is still, of course, George, operating all around the world, theatres such as Antarctic, while supporting British efforts out there in the Indian and the Atlantic Oceans, Straits of Gibraltar, all over the place.
Very, very much so. What a great life it is. Now, we talk about, there's a lot of Royal Air Force runs here from a recruiting perspective, but if you want slightly more interesting flying, and you like the ocean, and you like months and months away at sea, then maybe this is something for you as well. I know they all seem to have a thoroughly great time at the Royal Navy, but I have to say there's some weather conditions that I wouldn't personally wish to operate in, but I take my hat off to them. So bring it back now into a very slow, low hover. That enables enables AJ to bring the helicopter in a little bit closer to you, according to the current regulations, which means those who are in the middle here will certainly get a very good look at it. And
I think what we're about to see, George, is him touching down and giving us a demonstration of that wheeled undercarriage,
which is deeply blocked by a grandstand right in front of us. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you can see it accurately. It is very good. Of course, in the normal pairs formation, the number 2 would have been doing exactly the same manoeuvre behind.
The Lynx fleet operates from the Royal Navy's smaller ships, and that's what's being demonstrated now. It really is a very manoeuvrable machine in order to be able to fit into those confines. They fly from the Royal Navy's Type 42 destroyers and Type 22 frigates, also the Navy's ice patrol ship HMS Endurance. They also fly from the Type 23 frigates, the ones when they haven't got a Merlin on board, sometimes with the Type 45 destroyers and the Royal Navy's aircraft carriers as well in the future with the Wildcat.
That's an amazingly varied performance. A lovely down there from AJ. It's a traditional helicopter manoeuvre, but I suspect we'll manage at least another flyby before we end the system. It's the first time we've seen it in space, so do excuse us. The aircraft arrived very late yesterday. It was a close call. We almost didn't see it. So here we are now enjoying the solo.
Sea Skewer missiles for anti-shipping missions and Stingray torpedoes and depth chargers for enemy submarines are the primary defensive weapons of the Lynx. These upgraded from Mark III standard some years ago to the current Lynx HMA-8 form, HMA-8 standing for Helicopter Maritime Attack, and then Mark
guarding various stations around the country. Coming in quickly, putting up into a bit of what we call a zoom climb in the business. A nice little bit of plane slap there into the hover. Sadly, not fully aerobatic, so he's not able to throw it over his back at this particular mark, and neither will the Wildcat be aerobatic, which is great. Why is that? It takes an awful lot more time, technology trials, and so on and so forth. It's just not possible. Essentially, the only one that was cleared properly for the whole envelope was the Mark 7. So there we have it, a new era about to embark upon us, and who knows, as the operational tempo reduces, perhaps we'll see both a pairs formation re-emerge with a pair of one. Both other services, of course, the Royal Navy have great experience and history of team helicopter displays as well, with their famous Sharks routine, the 4 Gazelle helicopters, the red instructional helicopters that they used in basic training.